Welcome to episode 15 of the Get Real Game Podcast.
My water's gone everywhere.
It's the show where we get real, talking about the latest video game news and releases. I'm Richard, and with me is my first pick in the party roster, Lawrence. Are you okay?
Hang on, let me go call ambulance. My heart's on its ass. Jesus Christ.
Oh, goodness.
I need new underwear.
Are you all right?
Well, yeah, wet, but yeah, I'm good. I'm all right. How about you?
Keep you on your toes, don't
Toes?
I?
Me on bloody ceiling. Jesus.
I'm all right. We're all right. We've got a special guest coming on today. We've got half of the Get Real pod, Sam. He'll be with us in a bit.
He's a very special guest.
Today we're going to be talking about Knights of the Old Republic and the reveal. Well, is it a full reveal or is it just a rumoured reveal?
You'll have to wait and find out, won't you?
Well, it's a secret, yeah. But something about Knights of the Old Republic.
Don't do it. Don't spoil it.
On the podcast if you're listening to it.
All the podcast. That's just bloody rude.
Lawrence, what have you been playing this week?
My mind's gone blank. I did think, oh yeah, I'm playing this. I'll mention this on the podcast, and I completely forgot. That was it. Jedi Knight, Jedi Outcast.
Oh, that's very relevant, isn't it? Yeah.
And I was playing a little bit of Final Fantasy 14, a little bit of Elder Scrolls Online.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of. I've just kind of been bouncing around. Mainly, I've been working on my Twitch more than anything.
Yeah. No time for games.
No time for games. Well,
Lord of the Rings Online.
And Pokemon Stadium and Final Fantasy 8. I ended up modding that, and I'm going to be playing that.
You modded Final Fantasy 8?
Yeah. There's mods.
What did you do?
Basically gave it a proper HD retexture.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Did they make new textures or just upscale the old ones?
I think they just upscaled, but they also redid them at the same time. So they're not as blurry. That's very cool. So, yeah. Nice. Fun. Can't wait to play that.
Very good.
That's about it, really. I've not really played much this week. Well, what about you?
I've not been playing much this week, and he pulls out a scroll of games that he went through.
Elder Scroll.
An Elder Scroll. Me too. Elder Scrolls a little bit. We've been playing. I've been playing Nazi Zombies. We've been playing a bit of Minecraft. We've been playing
Dota.
We have been playing more Dota.
I've played a lot more Dota.
Haven't played anything new. It's all the same at the moment. It's kind of there's nothing new that's good enough.
I mean, I will be playing new things. Playing Hitman 3, and I'm going to be playing the Medium this week. I just need to find time.
Yeah. For long-time listeners, I haven't finished Ghost of Tsushima yet, and I haven't.
Finish it!
I haven't had the time really to sit through that.
If need be, I will sit with you on Discord as you play it.
You say this every time.
Well, then tell me when you're going to play it, and I'll sit on Discord with you.
Well, I haven't got time. That's the thing. I don't ever make time for myself to just sit.
I'm getting cat interference. Sorry, editor. Sorry, that banging is my cat rubbing up against the bloody microphone. Anyway, you were saying?
So not much other than that, really. I'm trying to think if I did play anything unique, but I don't think I did.
I played a brand new game, you know.
What game did you play?
Life. I woke up. I leveled up my cooking skill. Yeah.
Some XP in the cookies.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I can tell you what I did try. I did try some of Vader Immortal this week on the Oculus Quest.
Did, didn't you? Yeah,
I did actually. That's true.
Very good, isn't it?
I didn't get very far, and I can't do very much with my shoulder still. I am actually still recovering from the shoulder.
Have you got those bingo cards out, people?
I know.
He's already mentioned his shoulder. I've already said it all right. I know how to get bingo. Sam.
Wait, I know another one you can say. You can say PC Master Race. There's another one you can say. There you go.
Is that bingo yet? PC, Sam. There's another one. Bingo.
Is that another one? We need more. You haven't talked about Football Manager yet.
I've not played it.
No.
I've not played it this week.
All right.
Although I do plan on playing it because I did find a new database which I'm really looking forward to playing. It's the 1999 and 2000 season. So it's like a retro database, so I'm looking forward to playing that.
Okay, all right, okay, very nice. Yeah, Vader Immortal though.
Yeah, more
It
important.
was good. I haven't been able, you know what? Right,
What?
it is actually pretty like spooky.
It is, isn't it?
Like when Vader's in front of you and like you just get a bit like I got real life frightened a bit, like nervous. Well,
You
not
do.
frightened, but nervous.
You do get
you know?
nervous that you don't realise how tall he is until he stood right in front of you.
Yeah, it was actually kind of nerve wracking. But I haven't got that far through yet. But it was really good what I played so far.
It really makes you think about how those soldiers must feel at the end of Rogue One.
Yeah, definitely. What an absolute fright fest.
Yeah, I still think we need a horror film with Vader.
Probably do. Yeah, we actually probably do. But there are 3 Vader Immortals, aren't there? There's 3 of them.
It's a continuous like story thing. It's like Telltale. How
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But I like that. It's good. And I was going to say something else, but I have forgotten. So let's move on to the news roundup this week. Lawrence, what is the first piece of news?
Well, we saw something which is blowing up the internet this week, and it's not the Knights of the Old Republic. It is the reveal for the new Resident Evil Village.
Oh, yeah.
With the very tall lady, the very...
Is she one of those spooky goth ladies that they always...
Yes.
And scary...
With her daughters that are like in black and she's like in white and she's really tall. If you've not seen it, go and see it. It's not that scary. Like
it's never like goth guy with all of his goth sons, is it? It's always spooky
it's always
goth lady.
The very thick, tall goth lady.
It's specifically like the daughters that are like they're the scarier ones.
Well, they're all made of bugs, so you know.
Oh,
yeah, like bugs,
really
like they come around on a swarm of bugs.
Bug snacks,
like bug snacks,
DLC. There you go.
Like in the trailer, like you can see a bug that comes out of your hand, and it's nah.
That is
definitely shoot to kill.
Gross.
Definitely shoot to kill.
That is horrible. But okay, so we've got the reveal of that. Okay, so nice. So is there a date on that yet?
There is a date. There is a date. Yes,
okay.
It is May 7th, and I will definitely be playing it.
May the 7th. All right. Wasn't there supposed to be like a demo or something
on the
out?
PlayStation 5? Yes, it is coming for PlayStation 4 and PC in March, I believe, but
nice.
I don't think that's been confirmed. It might have been confirmed, it might not have been. I haven't got the source here, so...
well, we'll have to see how that goes, won't we?
We will.
Very good. What's the next piece of news, Lawrence?
Halo 3.
Oh, yeah.
Do you like it?
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's got new armors.
New armors?
New armors. After a decade, it has got new armors.
New armors?
New armors.
What new armors?
Well, the armors, which are new.
Armors. Very good. Is it on the Master Chief Collection then?
It is on the Master Chief Collection. It's got free Season 5 content, apparently.
Okay.
80 pieces of armor to unlock across Halo 3 and Reach. Brand new weapon skins. A fresh set of seasonal challenges with 4 unique rewards.
It's a shame that the ranking system's not what it used to be, really.
I know. I miss the old ranking system where you could like get different titles and stuff like that, like Brigadier and all that stuff. That was cool.
Yeah.
Bring that back. Thank you.
Very good. Yes. Now, yesterday, Lawrence.
Yes.
I was watching the next thing that you were talking about.
Were you now? This doesn't surprise me considering the topic.
Reddit messes with investors by driving GameStop stock price to record highs.
Okay, so how did this happen? Explain it, layman terms, because I'm an idiot and I don't know what the hell all this means.
I literally don't know how it happened. It just, out of nowhere, GameStop just exploded in value for no reason. But basically, yes, whatever happened, actually the stock market, as the time of recording, will open in about 10 minutes. So I can give you a live update on what happens with GameStop again today. But
on one condition.
What didn't? Go on.
I can give live updates of my football team on Football Manager.
Okay, sure. But what happened basically was the stock went from around about $65 or $70. It shot up to about 140 at its peak.
Jesus.
And then over the rest of the course of the afternoon, just slowly started decreasing again, back down to, now it's at $76, $79. And it's unknown as to whether when the stock market opens today, well, you'll know by the time you get to the end of the podcast because we'll have told you what happens. Basically, GameStop stock price, record high, and was no reason for it. And we don't know what's going to happen next. Very good.
Cool. Awesome. We've totally not just lost all our viewership on that one.
I cut all of that out and just kept it very clear and concise. Brilliant. Right.
For the 2 people that are still listening.
Yeah, well.
Sam.
So where might you buy? I mean, obviously you can buy games at GameStop, but what companies make games that you can buy at GameStop, Lawrence?
There's many companies that can make games.
Just give us the main contenders here.
CD Projekt Red.
Yeah, okay.
Nintendo.
Yep.
Sony.
Mm-hmm.
Android.
No.
Oh. I don't know. Can't think of anyone else.
You can't think of anybody else?
No.
Not one other company?
No.
Not one main competitor?
EA.
No, not EA.
Oh.
We're talking about Microsoft, Lawrence.
Oh, yeah. They exist.
They do, yeah. And basically, Microsoft had a rough time this last week, Lawrence. They had a very rough time because they decided to put the price of their Xbox Live Gold membership up quite a substantial amount, up to 2 times the amount.
In the middle of a pandemic, are you...
And they were hiding the way they were doing it within the subtext of their announcement, where they were explaining the price increases in 3-month to 6-month to 12-month basis, but didn't really make it very clear that the price difference on like a 6-month basis would actually essentially double the price of Xbox Live Gold.
You know what that sounds like? That sounds like shady business practices.
It is very shady of them. And as a result of this, they were obviously pulled back. The fishing rod reeled them in, and they had to basically do a complete U-turn and announce that they actually weren't going to do that after all because they've realised that was a bad idea.
Well, it's more of a leash nowadays, isn't it?
It is really, yeah. It's more of a leash tug on.
Yeah. No. Stay.
And also with that announcement, they announced, I think, that some free-to-play games on Gold were going free-to-play in general, I think. So they weren't going to be tied behind. Yeah, so
they need to get the free will back because they've just lost it all. They've done a CD Projekt Red and shot themselves in the foot.
I know, but it's not like people who are paying for it care about that because they're already paying for it. So it doesn't really affect the people that it was affecting. And it's not even happened yet. It's going to take months and months for them to get all the licenses for free-to-play games sorted that allows them to do what they're saying they're going to do there. So bit rubbish, but thank goodness that the internet exists where we can all tell them off and say, no, Microsoft.
No.
Bad.
Bill. No.
Bill.
No.
Bill and Phil. Stop what you're doing. Right now.
Bill and Phil.
Bill and Phil.
Why did that never occur to me?
It's
Why
Bill
has
and
that
Phil.
just only occurred to me? It's
Yeah.
like Bill and Ben, the Flower Pot Men, but Bill and Phil.
Bill and
clowns.
Phil. The Microsoft mental heads.
Mental heads. Proper mental heads, these lot. Jeez.
Bit of a weird move in general. It didn't really...
Didn't
really make sense. No, it doesn't make sense. I don't know what they were trying to do. They were obviously trying to push. I mean, they were basically the first company really to very heavily dominate an online subscription-based model. Xbox. Yeah, it was always the Xbox Live service.
The Game Pass as well is the first one that dominated it. As well, that kind of system.
Yeah, and for them to just try and take the mickey a bit with it just seems like they just thought they had too much power. And
see, this kind of move I expect from Sony, not Microsoft. You know, the family we accept everyone. Microsoft. This is very shady.
It is, and especially when the PS5 has been doing so well in comparison. Really,
they needed a win, and this is not the win.
No, this is not a win. So good that they went back on their plans, but bit of a mess up.
It's almost like they EA'd.
They almost EA'd us, yeah. And I've actually been considering recently getting rid of my Xbox Live. I have the Game Pass because now you get Xbox Live in the Game Pass, and I pay for that. But I was kind of thinking it just because I'm not really on my Xbox at the moment, and I don't really use or play the games on the pass for the PC at the moment. So I just thought, oh, well, I'll just save some money. But then what had happened is this news broke, and in their original statement, they were literally saying the people who are currently subscribed won't have the price increased for now. But if you do end the subscription and then rejoin us, the price will reflect the new price, not the old price that you were currently on. So it was kind of trying to force you into this kind of system where you didn't feel like you could leave because it would cost you more money to do that.
It does feel like they're alienating their new customer base.
Yeah, it would have really screwed over not just the new player base, but also the old player base who maybe just needed to take a month off it. You know, maybe they need to pay some bills at this time or whatever. Because, those things happen to some people.
We are in a pandemic where, bills and all that are happening all over the shop, and governments don't know what they're doing. It's not a good time to be raising your prices. If anything, if you want to garner goodwill, but still keep your prices up, lower your prices a little, do deals, because then people will actually rake that stuff in. Yeah.
Exactly. So not a good move, but they thankfully did turn it around. So well done, the internet. We won something anyway.
We won another battle. They'll never win.
But the war is not over yet. Lawrence, what is the next and last piece of news?
Well, you could say that the internet is currently a battlefront.
That's right. Battlefront, as in Star Wars Battlefront?
Yeah, because over 90 million players grabbed a free coffee and a copy of Star Wars Battlefront 2. See,
did you say 90 million players grabbed a free coffee?
19, a free coffee. Starbucks was having a sale.
Let's see.
Look, I'm tired, okay? Fuck.
It's 19 million players, isn't it?
Then where do I get my free coffee? I was promised coffee.
I know. I'll bring you one when this is all over. So take us through what happened.
Well, on Epic Games Store, they usually give out free games. I think we actually mentioned this.
We did.
That the Battlefront 2 was going to be made available, and so many people got the game.
All of our 19 million listeners got tipped off.
They did.
That they could get the game for free. And went and picked it up on the Epic Games Store because we told them, you're welcome.
You're welcome. That'll be £1 each. That's all they'll need.
Yeah.
Just £1. Not even a month, just £1.
Yeah.
Everyone picked it up for free, which is a great thing to pick up. I highly recommend. And it was that popular, it broke EA's servers.
Wow. Incredible.
And it's really hyped up how many people are playing Star Wars Battlefront 2 now, and it is a good game. It's not a bad game at all, but it is. It's just good news. It's good news for everyone.
It's really good news, and I think that Battlefront 2 was definitely an improvement, I think, than to Battlefront 1 in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And to get it for free, to get a Star Wars game for free, I mean, can't argue with that. Very good.
Very good.
Breaking news, Lawrence.
Breaking.
This moment, the stock market has just opened. Okay? GameStop.
Sorry, all I've just heard is the Fable crier in my head.
Very, very good. The time is very late.
The time is daytime. Markets are open.
Pre-market, Lawrence, GameStop went from 76 back to 97 and is now, in the first minute, up to 101.
Ooh. Well, I've got breaking news as well.
Go on.
Animal Crossing is doing a Super Mario themed event coming in March.
Very nice. That's going to be good.
Literally just announced 3 minutes ago.
Well then, that's not so bad at all, is it?
No.
Before we move on to the main topic today and swap over to talking to our good friend Sam, I just wanted to...
friend, Sam.
We wanted to put in, just because the last few weeks has been nothing coming out, but we're mixing it up and I'm putting in the just released titles right here, Lawrence. We had a few games come out this last week.
Did we?
Well, we had Hitman 3, didn't we?
Oh yeah, that thing.
Yeah. Did you play it?
Not yet. I've got it installed. It's there. It's waiting. I need to be in the right frame of mind because it's been a very busy week and I'm very tired and I need to be alert to play Hitman.
You've also been talking about the Medium a lot.
Yes.
That is coming out on the 28th. So
on the Thursday, yes. That's when I'm playing it on the stream. I'm actually preloading it right now to play it on stream.
Very good. And also on the 28th, the Yakuza Remastered Collection is going to come out.
Yes, I'm very looking forward to this.
So a few other games, but those are the main ones for the next week. So
those are the important ones.
Yeah.
Do we have anything next for the week after to look forward to, or are we just going to wait until then? You'll leave in suspense.
Gods Will Fall is coming out on the 29th.
What the hell is Gods Will Fall?
Someone out there knows. I don't know. So it's ReZero, Starting Life in Another World, the Prophecy of the Throne. It looks like an anime type
Sounds
game.
too wordy for me.
Yeah. So that's it. So
Fandabidozi. Right.
Excellent. Right. We're going to go now, swap over to our other segment where we're talking to Sam about the news, the main topic of the Knights of the Old Republic 3 rumors. Take it away, Richard and Lawrence in the future past. Sam, hello.
Days of future past. In the future, the past.
The past, future.
Here we are at the main topic. We've got a special guest with us, haven't we?
Here we are at the main topic.
Very special. He's
here we are at the main topic.
Look at this.
Yep.
He comes in here thinking he's Mr. Fantastic, Mr. Non-PC, Sam. How you doing?
Not bad, mate. Sorry, I didn't say it right. I meant to say, I'm all right.
No. That's too happy.
Oh.
I'm all right. You go,
I'm all right. Anyway, yeah, no, I'm doing good. I'm here to talk about my favourite game of all time that didn't originally...
PC Build Simulator?
No, Lawrence, God's sake, stop. I know it's an ongoing joke on this show that it's all, ha. Sam's not... You know what, I listened to your episode, so I'd know. Apart from, there was that bloody news story or whatever that you didn't hear on our podcast the other day, and I was like, do you even listen to the podcast? You clearly don't.
No, I don't. No, you're right.
He doesn't even listen to our podcast.
I don't even listen to our own podcast, but I know you listen to it, Sam. That's why I say it.
He doesn't know. He doesn't know that I put all of his worst bits at the front.
Oh, what?
You want to know what's really funny, Lawrence?
Oh, no.
You know how you're all PC Master Race?
Yeah.
I'm not going to finish that sentence because this is PG.
It's fine, we'll bleep it out.
An interesting fact about Knights of the Old Republic is that when it first came out, it wasn't actually released on Microsoft Windows. It was purely released on the Xbox.
Yeah, I had the copy.
Oh, did you play it on the Xbox as well, Lawrence? You didn't play it on PC?
I originally played it on Xbox, yeah, because it was a poor scrub. But then I grew up and became a man and got a PC.
All right, and you played a poorly
optimized. Okay. You've had your fun.
I know. I'll stop now. Hashtag PC Master Race, but I'll stop now.
Okay, well, I'll try to reel this in a little bit. So we're talking about the news that broke.
Are you reeling in on this Get Real Gaming podcast?
The news that broke. I'm just going to ignore that. And the news that broke that a new Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic game is under development from a mystery developer. So Knights of the Old Republic. How many Knights of the Old Republic games are there?
2.
3.
Conflicting
The Old Republic.
3 because BioWare classes Star Wars The Old Republic as Knights of the Old Republic 3.
No, it should certainly not. It should absolutely
So for those listening right
not.
now, I'm the official referee of this main segment today.
He's got uniform on and everything. As
Lawrence and Sam are both very deep in the Knights of the Old Republic stuff, and I don't know very much about either of the 2/3 Knights of the Old Republic games.
Do you want me to give you a really quick lesson in Knights of the Old Republic?
You look good in those shorts.
Thanks, man. Yeah, cheers. Yes, give us a lesson. Give me and the listeners a lesson in Knights of the Old Republic.
Right. You ready?
Yes.
A long time ago in a galaxy far...
This is just like being at D&D all over again.
Knights of the Old Republic is around about 4,000 years before the Galactic Empire, right? Where you've got Darth Malak, who is currently the Dark Lord of the Sith, has unleashed a Sith armada against the Galactic Republic. That's where that's the top and tail of it. However, there are a couple of major characters, a la Darth Revan, who I'm sure you've heard before.
Mm-hmm.
He's only the best character in the Star Wars universe.
And then you've got Bastila Shan, who's another really big character in the Old Republic verse.
We've not heard of that one as normal listeners.
I think you have.
Normies. we like to call you.
I think you
Star Wars
have.
normies.
You definitely have. But
yeah, I'm speaking on behalf of the casual.
I'm talking to the listeners and telling them that they have.
okay.
Okay.
But basically, the game's a big open world RPG. It's kind of on rails at parts of it, but it's essentially you get to make your character, you get to decide whether they're a scoundrel, soldier, or something else.
Technician.
Is it technician?
Yeah.
Has it not got another word for it?
Might be engineer, actually.
It is engineer, that's it.
Yeah.
Close enough. There you go.
But yeah, you basically decide that. You can decide whether you go down the light side or the dark side. It's got a flurry of side quests throughout the whole thing. It's very immersive, and ultimately you go through a big emotional roller coaster, especially in the first one.
Would you class it as like the precursor to Mass Effect? In terms of systems?
I'd probably say this actually set the bar pretty high for a lot of RPGs and stuff. I probably wouldn't say in terms of like its combat base, because in terms of like the combat gameplay, because the combat gameplay feels like slightly XCOM at the same time. It's got like you're not actively like pulling right trigger to shoot. You set an action to start shooting, and then you can whack like other abilities in there, or if you want to use like a med pack or a stim pack or whatever.
It's very turn based.
It's not turn-based though. It's all action happening. So if you imagine a first-person shooter, imagine a third-person shooter, so to speak. But you set an action to start shooting, and your character will automatically start shooting someone. But then in that queue of actions, you can set like, after this action you can do like force lightning, or after this action you can use like a technical ability that does ion damage to a droid or whatever, or you can switch your weapon or whatever. But it's kind of, that's what I mean, it's kind of like a split down the middle between it being, it's not turn based, but it's like I say, it's got that little bit of an XCOM-y vibe, like where you'd have a row of abilities, but it's not in a turn. It happens all in real time, so you can
in real time.
So you can just like pull away from the combat and start running around and stuff, and
right.
But as an RPG, it's very much when you're walking around in like, I don't know, if you're walking around the city of Taris or whatever, you can like walk around and talk and interact like you would do in, say, Skyrim or Fallout, example.
Right. And are you playing as a particular main character in the Star Wars universe that you obviously make uniquely your own, or is it quite open-ended?
Spoilers for Knights of the Old Republic 1 and probably 2, but you're actually playing as the main, like basically Malik is the main antagonist in the first one. He's the guy who you see on like the cover images that's got his mouth covered, and he's like the bald guy with the tattoos on his head. The other antagonist is Darth Revan, who you hear a lot of throughout, and how he was Malik's master, but how he was killed I believe he was killed by Bastila. That's what they say, don't they, in the first one?
Yeah.
But you like the big twist at the end is that you are Darth Revan, and you was actually brainwashed by the Jedi Council because you were seen more as an asset towards the Republic than what it was.
Oh my god, that's actually a really big spoiler. That kind of makes me feel like I should have probably played this by now.
Well, I mean, yeah, you really should have. But the backstory of Revan is that he was a Jedi Knight before he was
Both
Darth
of them
Revan.
were. Both of them were really, yeah. That's why.
So there's even.
Yeah, that's why, like, throughout the game, you get to make choices between the light side or the dark side, because as you make choices based on the dark side, you're more leaning into your Sith past. Whereas if you lean into your light side, that's where you'd lean into more of your redemption arc. So that's why, in Galaxy of Heroes, the mobile game, that's why you have a light side Revan and a dark side Revan, because it's based on
that also links into the Old Republic expansion as well.
But which we're not talking about, because it's
we
not Knights of the Old Republic.
We must acknowledge that it exists, Sam.
Yeah.
Well, the reason why we're here to talk about it today is because it's been confirmed, sort of, that there's no involvement from EA or BioWare in this new Knights of the Old Republic game. And so we've brought you on, Sam, to talk about who potentially could be the developer and what that kind of a game would look like, because we can quote unquote Jason Schreier.
Yeah, Jason Schreier, very, very
Jason
popular game journalist.
He said that no one's going to guess right about the game's developer. So first impressions of that, what do we think initially about, well, first of all, EA or BioWare is not being involved.
Isn't it a bit strange that you have Ubisoft Massive working on a new open world Star Wars title, but then it also comes around that KOTOR 3 is happening, but you're not going to be able to guess right. So does that mean there's actually two
the
open
thing is,
world Star Wars titles happening?
In terms of Ubisoft Massive stuff, there's a lot more speculation that it's a new MMO because of how they did the Division and the Division 2. It's going to be that kind of style of Star Wars game, an open world semi MMO game, which I don't think which will be KOTOR 3 or 4.
Is KOTOR considered an open world? It's considered like an open world RPG.
Yeah, it's a single player RPG though. It's not multiplayer unless you count as that other
it's
one.
Probably
that Sam doesn't like.
It's probably about as open world as what Mass Effect is. So you know how like Mass Effect is kind of on rails for the first maybe hour or so, and then it's on rails for like the final hour. It's a bit like that, where Skyrim you can just literally walk away from wherever you want at any time you want
and do anything.
Yeah. Where with this there'll be like points where, for example, after you've got off the first planet in KOTOR 1, you then have a choice after you've been to Dantooine of going to a couple of different planets. So you basically you have a MacGuffin, right? And the MacGuffin of the first one is you have to collect the Starforge maps, which is basically telling you where the Starforge is. But you have to go to each planet to get the map. So you do the big main quest on each planet, and then eventually you go to the Starforge. But the whole bit in the middle is about as open as something like Skyrim or Fallout, where you can bounce between the planets. Some quests will take you between different planets, maybe, and you'll also have like a crew of other companions that will have their own story arcs, and you can choose how much you want to influence them. So, for example, you can work on like a romance arc with Bastila, if you want to, or you can work on a romance arc with somebody else, or you can work on a romance arc with all of them if you really want, but
droids. C3PPO.
No, HK-47.
HK-47 is one of the most iconic droids in Star Wars, definitely.
It's a very classic BioWare. Very, very classic BioWare story.
HK-47 is the one that goes commentary, and then we'll say a commentary, or he'll say everything, he quotes everything he's about to say.
Right, okay.
So
if it's not BioWare...
Oh, yeah, back onto topic, sorry.
Who could it be, and what could it be about?
So we were talking a bit more about some speculations, weren't we, about who we would maybe see do it and who we maybe wouldn't want to see do it. So
I think I have a name.
but you have to keep in the back of your head that it's according to this Jason, that no one's going to get it right.
I think I've got a name for you.
Oh, yeah?
Archetype Entertainment. It's the new Wizard of the Coast game studio, but it's being helmed by the two ex-BioWare veterans. And it says the first title will be a new story-driven sci-fi RPG.
No, shut up.
Bloody hell, Lawrence, just repeat that for me. Just repeat that again for me.
Wizards of the Coast, the publisher behind Magic the Gathering and Dungeons & Dragons, has unveiled its new video game development studio, Archetype Entertainment. It's being helmed by two BioWare veterans, and its first title will be a new story-driven sci-fi RPG.
Now,
has Lawrence just nailed it?
Hang on, there's more. It was the company announced it was teaming up with former BioWare creative director and lead designer James Alhern, who previously worked on the likes of Baldur's Gate, Dragon Age Origin, Neverwinter Nights, and Star Wars: The Knights of the Old Republic.
As if this has just come up.
Well, that's the end of the episode.
Thanks, guys, for listening. That's the end of the discussion.
And Sorry, he's the studio head.
Just to check, it says, it doesn't say the Sith Lords are number 2, it just says Knights of the Old Republic. Okay, because that's really good.
It's either that, but my second theory would be the ex-Blizzard employees, them taking a shot at it, because why would anyone get a ex-Blizzard employees working on Knights of the Old Republic? That they have their own studio called Dreamhaven.
And I mean, if you were going to trust anybody with something like this, I guess Wizards of the Coast are a pretty solid for those who don't know, the creators of... Oh, sorry. I'm right in saying that they look after Magic the Gathering and...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's Dungeons and Dragons, Magic the Gathering, like Lawrence said, like, they're massive. And they stretch way further beyond all of that. Like, you don't even know how many card games they publish. They've got their hands so deep into many big franchises.
So they've got the budget. They've got the guy.
They've got the... Yeah.
I guess also, when you think, say, Disney and Star Wars and Lucasfilm and Lucasfilm Gaming, all that kind of all that kind of stuff, they do like to take new and upcoming studios and actors and all that sort of stuff when they create something new. Mm-hmm. And I guess by taking someone like Archetype Entertainment, who is, they are made, the team's consisting of people that are in the industry, but the actual brand of something like Archetype Entertainment wouldn't carry any stigma with it if it would, if it was, say, like an EA release or a Ubisoft release. So it's
an Obsidian release.
Yeah. I mean,
a lot of people said Obsidian, but it's like, that's too close, I think.
And they've got an absolute ton of job openings at the minute. And it says there, we are seeking talented and self-motivated developers who have a passion for story-driven role-playing games.
Which is exactly what Knights of the Old Republic is.
I've just been looking, actually, as you said that, I was looking on the Wizards website for the job openings. Mm-hmm. Archetype Entertainment are currently looking for... gameplay animators, principal environmental artist, audio director, lead system engineer, principal rendering engineer, senior gameplay engineer, a lead cinematic designer, principal gameplay designer, principal level designer, and SR gameplay/combat designer.
So it sounds really early on, basically.
And a QA manager as well. So yeah, it is quite...
That sounds like a company that's just been given the green light on a really big Star Wars game.
Oh, it does sound a little bit like...
We could be looking too deep into this. I don't want to be putting all our eggs in one basket here, guys. Come on, let's
However,
get some more...
he does have credits
studios.
on Anthem, so let's just keep all of our
expectations. That's the other guy, isn't it? That's Chad Robinson, who most recently served as head of live services on Anthem. Oh,
But an interesting little synopsis I saw of this game, this upcoming KOTOR 3, quote unquote, is that it's going to look at taking the canon and narrative of KOTOR and working it into the Star Wars current canon, which is interesting because imagine if it is just like a redo of the story, but it's just based around like actual new Old Republic canon, because I don't know if the MMORPG is actually canon or not.
It's classed as alternate universe.
Okay.
So what if this one is classed in the new High Republic era of games?
I mean, maybe you put, you bring Revan in further along the timeline, and maybe you put them around there, because there is the note that Revan, as a word, is canon in Star Wars, because one of the Sith fleets in Rise of Skywalker was called like the Revan Division or whatever like that. So one of those fleets that Palpatine raises up out of the ice of that planet that I can't remember the name of.
Yeah, that planet.
Just an interesting note while you've been chatting about that is I was just looking deeper into the jobs available for Archetype. It says here that they are building a development team with world-class talent to create a new science fiction universe for our first multi-platform role-playing video game. So is that a throw-off to say they're creating a new science fiction universe? Does that does that open the door for it to not be these guys doing Star Wars?
Yeah, I would say if it's brand new, but they say new, not brand new.
Yeah, they didn't say like a brand new. They just say a new science fiction universe. But to say universe as well is to say that it's not.
Sorry, it doesn't use the word original anywhere.
No. So we're picking at words now.
I think we're looking too deep into things here.
Maybe we are. Maybe they just have to say it like that. Maybe the copywriter for this is just, we just put it in there and then we'll tell them later on it's actually Star Wars. Or maybe not.
Most likely they'll be under NDA anyway.
Yeah,
if it wasn't this new Archetype games that we're pretty much kind of, I think we're we're all kind of in agreement that it's possibly the biggest chance based on what this Jason Schreier said, if I got his name right there.
Yeah.
I mean, he must
Schreier,
know.
sorry, I think.
Schreier, he must know. He must know who's doing it.
Oh, yeah,
so.
he knows, but he's not saying a word. Probably because, again, whoever told him, if they got found out, they'd lose the job.
So, I mean, the next big contender, before we read this, was probably going to be Obsidian, who worked on the second one.
Yeah.
But then they're saying that... I was going to say, yeah, because he's saying that nobody's going to guess right.
No, I'm saying
that seems like a guess.
Before we would have seen this, is that they would...
Sure, we would have just said that if we hadn't known what Jason would have said, yeah.
Is that in itself a red herring saying you'll never guess when it actually is someone that we could probably guess?
So a little bit more to that point, because... Actually, Jason said this back in December of last year, which at the time, EA still had exclusive rights to the Star Wars license, which means that Lucasfilm Games wasn't announced. So maybe he's just saying nobody's going to guess right because people were under the assumption EA might have kept the exclusive license for Star Wars, meaning that it just won't be an EA-related... licensed game, but anybody then or BioWare potentially could pick up and run with it again. Maybe that's why he said that phrase specifically.
Possibly.
And to also just add to that, have we actually had a statement or confirmation from Lucasfilm Games in any way around the EA losing exclusivity? Because all that we've really seen is that there's a new game that Ubisoft are working on that's Star Wars, but they've not actually come out and been like, or EA or whatever. No one's actually come out and said we've lost. We're opening up the Star Wars IP to other developers.
I mean, really, Ubisoft Massive, the Ubisoft Massive announcement kind of did that by itself. They didn't really need to come out and say EA have lost the license.
It doesn't mean that EA won't also be given a sub-license for specific Star Wars games when they successfully pitch a project or get asked to work on a project. But it just means that...
Sorry, there's a rumour going around that Battlefront 3 is still happening and Jedi Fallen Order 2 is still happening.
And those would be EA sub-licenses.
Yeah. So
it doesn't mean that EA won't be able to work on Star Wars games. It just means that they will no longer have the exclusive right to make Star Wars games.
I think it was the CEO of Disney that said, we feel there is more room for other studios to develop stories in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the idea of Lucasfilm Games. I think it's kind of I was chatting to one of our friends from an Earful podcast earlier today about it, that the Lucasfilm Games brand kind of looks like, obviously we know it's like the storyboard of Star Wars games. That's probably what they're looking at doing, making sure everything ties into the current canon, a bit like what they do on the TV and film storyboard as well. But it kind of looks like it's a big old way of having quality control over what stuff is being released from multiple different studios, because the thing that LucasArts did probably not massively well back in the day was making sure that all these different things tie together and not muddy up the Star Wars universe. So you had things like, you had Star Wars Bounty Hunter, that was Jango Fett's story. You had Jedi Academy, Jedi Outcast. You had all the, you had all sorts of stuff.
Pod Racer 2.
But you had the RTS games, and then Lucasfilm Games gives them a bit of like a firewall, so to speak, for anything that's going to damage that or muddy it up in the case that they have to. Because the last thing they want to do is they don't want to go back now, and they don't want to say, oh, this is Legends and this is canon again. They don't want to have to do a big thing like that again. So this is probably that, I guess.
I think also the whole EA thing as well with Battlefront 2 and the whole bomb that hit with the live service part of that. I think that was where Disney was like, okay, we need to wrestle back control there, because they've cancelled 4 to 6 projects. They've only had like 4 or 5 games in 10 years. We're hemorrhaging money in just using them, basically.
Yeah, and I mean, the amount of games they made was not really so much the issue. It's just the fact that, I mean, EA are a publisher more than anything, so they could have managed other development teams to make more games. But games obviously do take time anyway. But I think really it's just the point that they left a sour taste in Star Wars gamers' mouths, EA, and I think that Lucasfilm Games kind of is trying to wrestle some of that back.
Yeah, and
under their control, you know.
And in all fairness to them, they did fix it. They did come back in, they fixed it, they added absolutely boatloads of DLs, like free additions and stuff to it as well.
But it was too little too late.
It was too little too late, but at least now, based off that should hopefully never happen again. But they've just had to learn the hard way. But I guess if it's not going to be them or Obsidian, who else would we like to see take a hit on this?
I'm going to play devil's advocate here, and I'm going to say Activision.
That is playing devil's advocate there.
And that's also a joke. I wouldn't want them to touch it anyway, no how.
Well, Activision are a publisher, so Activision would be publishing a game developed
Studios,
by...
really.
Right.
Let's see. I don't know.
You have to wrestle through those.
Yeah, there's quite a few studios out there that could do it. CD Projekt Red's full, so no.
they haven't got any time on their hands.
I don't think people would touch a Star Wars game from CD Projekt Red with a 10-foot pole. Jesus.
No.
I mean, what do we think? What do we think it's even going to be about? Like, because I mean, I don't really know how 2 ends, but
it won't follow on from. I don't see it following on from where 2 ends, because the problem with 2 is 2 was really rushed. I mean, Knights of the Old Republic 1 came out in 2003, and then Knights of the Old Republic 2 came out in 2004. It literally came out 12 months later. So Obsidian Entertainment, that was the first game that they worked on. And basically what happened is that Obsidian were basically brought in because BioWare were too busy to do it. Obsidian were brought in and gave like less than 12 months to get the game together. So that's why that when you play the game on Steam, you also have the restored content mod for that, because there was a lot of stuff that was never actually included in the final game. And that's why maybe the Sith Lords isn't as strong as KOTOR 1, and it does feel quite empty in some places. Like for example, like a quick example, just while I'm going off on a tangent, that's why I'm here, right?
Yeah.
KOTOR 1, you go to Korriban, and for those that don't know, in the Star Wars universe, Korriban is the home world of the... Well, I guess it is kind of the home world of the Sith. It's like it's a very, very, very iconic world. I think it is the home world. I'm getting mixed up.
It is the home world. Yeah,
I'm still getting mixed up with that place from The Rise of Skywalker that nobody ever remembers. Exegol.
Yeah.
Exegol is not the home world of the Sith. Korriban is the home world of the Sith.
Yeah. So anyway, I was right the first time. So yeah, in the first one, you go to Korriban, and there's a Sith Academy there, and you have the Valley of the Dark Lords, where you've got 6 different temples of each different Dark Lord, and essentially you get to go into a lot of those tombs and run trials, and it's absolutely full of like immersion. There's like a starport that you go to in Korriban, and then when you go to the academy, there's loads of people there, and you can choose to betray the master of it, or you can choose to follow him and protect him, and all this sort of stuff. And then you go to Korriban in the Sith Lords Part 2, and it almost feels like, look, we've not had time to do all that, so basically we're going to say the whole Sith Academy isn't there anymore, and there's nobody there, and it's all abandoned, and you basically get to go in a cave, and that's your time on the world, basically.
It's funny because in the Old Republic, in the MMO, which is set after KOTOR 2, like I think like a good 100 years, the academy is back on Korriban, like it's full. It's like you get to go back to all those temples, so it's just like, what's happening here? Have they just gone on holiday?
We all went away for
what's happening?
And that
for the monthly meeting,
and that summarizes the problems that KOTOR 2 faced, and that they were, self-aware of them when it came to the MMORPG, because they then retconned that. But yeah, so I don't see it being a continuation on from KOTOR 2. What I would like to see from it is I would like them to take the... And it's hard, because how do you do a twist if you do the same story?
Yeah.
But I guess this is a really old game, and a lot of people would have played it, but in 2003, you've got a whole new audience base here that will want to see it and won't know that twist. But also maybe won't be expecting the game to take the same thing. But I would like to see a repurpose of the story, kind of true to its form in the sense of what planets you go to, maybe twist it up a little bit, maybe the Revan thing's a little bit different, but I would like to see them repurpose that storyline with those characters and chuck it into Star Wars canon now.
Can I throw you a curveball here, Sam?
Yes, sir.
What if it's not a sequel, but a prequel to Knights of the Republic?
So it shows Revan at the height of his power in the Sith.
It shows Revan, like you start as Revan as a Padawan or whatever, and then you go as a knight and then do the Mandalorian Wars, and it ends with you.
Well, I was going to say, it doesn't really have as big a payoff then, because you already know what's going to happen. I guess
what if it's based in that era, like before all that, before everything. Like
I guess then you would get to make the decision or not, whether or not Revan will actually fall to the dark side or not initially, right? Because otherwise you would have to play a bad guy for the majority of the game.
If they do a Revan story, if they don't repurpose like you said.
Well, like the Clone Wars and Rebels TV shows, when they try to do something that's been, a bit more story in a similar time period or a different time period, but filling gaps, they've made new characters that fit in with the characters from that era. So they could, in theory, do something where you are brand new characters, but they still fit in with what's going on with Darth Malak and Darth Revan and stuff.
Yeah, which would be my second choice that would be my second preference. Is obviously you get to then meet Revan, and Revan's a big antagonist or protagonist, depending on which way. Maybe it's based on that. I mean, maybe they'll just do a big original story and they'll just have those characters as part of it.
But like we have the Mandalorian, where we've now had Ahsoka, and spoilers for the end of season 2, but you've got Luke also coming back in at the end of the Mandalorian. You've got these characters that we already know and love in that time period showing up, and they are the big payoffs of this kind of side story almost. It fulfills that and validates that just from, like in the Mandalorian's case, it validated the Mandalorian just because people were so excited that Ahsoka was going to be there, that it was going to be all twisted in with, and then it was twisted in with Luke and stuff. You could do the same thing in the Knights of the Old Republic universe with those like quintessential Knights of the Old Republic characters, but you're following a new story that will introduce those characters back in.
I mean, I'd like to just throw in here this whole kind of going on a little bit of a tangent. We have spoken about the story, what we would like, and I love that idea that you just put in, Rich, of the whole validating it, and the payoff is meeting Revan or going with Revan. You could be another Jedi Knight that goes with him or whatever. But what kind of systems, what kind of things would be in place? A very quick, brief idea. What would be your idea for Knights of the Republic? What kind of things would you have in it?
Go on, Sam. Off you go.
Oh dear.
That's right. Think on your feet.
Do we have another 2 hours?
I mean, we made this Knights of the Republic special.
I don't know. I think that a lot of what the original one did, to me, it holds a really special place for me. You go through such a variety of different situations in a Star Wars universe that you just wouldn't normally go through, or you would never see happen. So you get, like I said, you get to work your way up a Sith academy. You get to become a Jedi for the first time as an adult, which is crazy. You get to it takes place in a court trial. You get to and you get to basically choose whether homeless people die or not, or kill each other, or you get to save people living underneath a city from a disease. You can choose to let them fall victim of that disease and they all turn into rat ghouls. There's just so much, and I think basically if it just took that and did it again, there's even a murder mystery about 2 or 3 times in KOTOR 1. It's there's so many good parts of it that I would like to see, as side quests, but as a main story, that's the interesting thing. And to be honest with you, I'd like to not be able to think of what the main story could be, because I would like to imagine that it's something that is just going to take me by surprise.
So, in terms of combat or flying ships or that
do you
kind
mean
of
like
stuff.
mechanically how it would
mechanically.
work?
What would you like in the next Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic game?
I'd like it to go back to I'd like it that original combat system. It's different enough. I know it's not fast paced, but you can make it more exciting. The animations and stuff. Because in KOTOR 1, your animation, you're literally going between 3 different attack animations, aren't you? And obviously, it is a 2003 game. It was way ahead of its time for 2003. Don't get me wrong, but it is dated a bit. But I'd kind of like to see them do that, because I guess that is just essentially how an MMO works, isn't it? You go in and you set actions and you set spells and whatever. I guess I'd kind of like that, because for me that's what KOTOR was. It wasn't this fast-paced combat action game. You get to pause and make decisions and stuff while you're in. You get to micromanage your 2 companions that you've got with you. I guess maybe just like an updated version of that. And I would like to see space fights, because in the original ones you only had you would operate a turret, and that would be as far as what you do in terms of a space fight. So it probably would be quite cool if you could have extra stuff like that, or maybe even be able to kit out your ship. Like the ship that you have in the KOTOR 1 and 2, the Ebon Hawk, is like their version of the Millennium Falcon, which is interesting because Hawk and Falcon, and there's a bit of a parallel there. But yeah, I'd like to see it take a lot of what worked, because that's what people want. You can't take Knights of the Old Republic and then turn it into this fast-paced first-person RPG game. You can't take Star Wars and put it in Skyrim. That's not what KOTOR fans would want.
No.
And I think they know that, because you only bring KOTOR back if you can do it right. You do not risk messing it up.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
And
I think Lucas film games, LucasArts games, I think they need this to win. They need to win over the fans, and I think, like you said, doing it right is the only way that they're going to be able to win over the fans.
Yeah.
Do you think that Ubisoft's game is going to come out before this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think so. Yeah.
Because Ubisoft have a team, and these are still currently trying to hire the team.
That's true. Yeah.
You don't.
So I wonder who's got the most pressure under them to be the first
Ubisoft
studio. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like they probably. I know this is a little slightly off topic, but it just caught my thought when Sam was mentioning it, that there's going to be so much pressure on the first company that releases it under Lucasfilm Games. That's going to be pretty intense. Anyway, sorry, carry on. Where you were going with?
Going in your tangent, I think, just throwing it out there, that the Ubisoft Massive game might be set in the Clone Wars.
That would be pretty interesting.
Just because of the way, because it's the Division 2 team and the Division team, and that has going to different locations and third person over the shoulder combat. I think it could be set in the time of the Clone Wars or in the time of the Empire and Rebellion.
I guess you could have a part of the galaxy where you didn't see it in the Clone Wars animated series, where you are a Jedi, you get to build your Jedi, and then you get to take, you get to fight in certain areas of the Clone Wars and maybe fight in parts of battles that we've seen. So you could actually have
your story mission kind of stuff.
Yeah, you could take part in part of the Battle for Mandalore, I guess, if you really wanted to, because there's lots of parts of the Clone Wars animated series that you don't see. You could have them fighting on Felucia, you could have them fighting pretty much anywhere, and then partway through the game you could have Order 66 happen, which would be pretty nuts. They love a good Order 66. You only have to play Fallen Order to know how much they love a good Order 66.
Well, let's drag it back to the Knights of the Old Republic. So the reason why we've dragged you here, I honestly think this is an exciting time for Star Wars fans, especially in the video game.
Yeah, definitely.
Era.
Like this is the first, when I heard about the Ubisoft massive property or whatever it was, the open world one, I was like, yeah, that's cool. I'm expecting Skyrim but Star Wars, or Fallout but Star Wars, or whatever, but having something where And I can only hope. And I think, Lawrence, when you first shared this story in our little WhatsApp group, I was like, I'm not going to believe it until I've heard it officially. Just because stuff like that is like something that old school Star Wars gamers have been asking for so long. I mean, so long. And it was just never going to be possible because of EA and BioWare holding the license for the IP. And now it's almost like, well, if they're doing this is like a real big moment for them to be like, yes, we've listened to you. We just couldn't do it because we didn't want the same problems. We wanted to do it right. So now that we've got freedom over what studio can do what game, we're going to deliver it the best possible way to you. And that is extremely exciting. That I believe now that they're not restricted to one studio, hopefully, that we're going to see some of the best Star Wars content in terms of games from back when we had, say...
the golden generation of Star Wars games with Jedi Academy, Outcast.
Yeah.
Star Wars Pit Droid.
Star Wars
game.
Pit Droid, the game. Star Wars
I
Chess.
I swear that came on a serial CD one time.
Probably did,
Do you remember those serial CDs?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, it was a demo for it, I think. Came in a magazine. When they used to do gaming magazines where they had a demo disc.
The thing is,
I think we better wrap this up, boys. Otherwise, this is just going to be the episode.
My final thing is that all the Star Wars games that we've had over the last couple of years, bar the bit of a rocky road that Battlefront 2 had, have been fine. And I even say that about Fallen Order. That Fallen Order was a good game, really good, but it was fine because it didn't have that replayability. And once it was done, it was done. Like, I've picked it up for maybe 5 minutes again, and then I've just kind of fell out of it because I was like, I know everything that's going to happen now.
Yeah.
It's like playing a platformer again, but you know exactly what's going to happen, and you've played it recently in the last couple of years or whatever. But I think now I don't think I'm going to have that feeling again. Like, what we had with Squadrons, where we were excited about it for a bit, and then you just realise it's the same thing over again, and there's nothing new there. I just think that this is probably the most exciting time to be a Star Wars fan and a gaming fan at the same time.
Well, yeah, I mean, I totally agree. And I think obviously we haven't had much confirmed at this point, so we have to be careful how excited we get about things, right, Lawrence? Because Cyberpunk 2077, be careful.
It'll be good. 2022, okay? You're the Cyberpunk. I promise you.
Oh, God. He still thinks it's going to happen, Sam. He still thinks it's going to make a comeback. We'll see, won't we?
If KOTOR 3 or whatever is a thing and it is a Cyberpunk situation, I'm literally going to go and find a physical copy of those original 2 games as discs and burn them. Just out of
Knights
spite.
of the New Republic. You heard it here first.
To be fair, Knights of the New Republic sounds pretty cool.
Knights of the High Republic.
Knights of the High Republic sounds cool.
Oh,
woof,
Knights
woof.
of the Low Republic. Is there a Low Republic? There isn't, is there?
Anyway, thanks for having me on, guys. Appreciate it.
Well, thanks very much, Sam. Do you want to plug your podcast while you're here? Because we better add.
We don't want to hear about those losers.
No, we don't want to hear about Sam and Chris from the Get Real podcast, the show where they get real talking about the latest TV and comic book nerdy stuff and all that stuff.
If you like Star Wars and nothing but Star Wars, the podcast Get Real is just for you, because we're a secret Star Wars podcast where we sometimes talk about Marvel and DC stuff, and actually maybe we sometimes talk about something that isn't pop culture. But Get Real, we talk about film, TV and pop culture movie news.
It still sounds weird whenever someone says Get Real and not Get Real Gaming.
I know, it's almost as if there's other Get Reals out there that we just aren't aware of, when we're the only Get Real.
Are we the superior podcast?
Well,
what's the next one? What's after Get Real Gaming?
Get Real News.
Get Real True Crime.
Get Real Fish.
Get Real Weather. It's the weather with Get Real. Sponsored by Iceland. Right. Thanks very much.
The country, not the shop.
Yeah, thanks everybody. Have a good rest of your week and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you now.
Check our show souls down below.
One day I'll get a
Master
PC,
Race.
Lawrence. One day.
PC Master Race.
One day.
You better do. I'm waiting for you.